Are there financial gains from going public with your story?
Not yet. I mean, from all the press and everything that I've done, I haven't made anything. There's definitely opportunities. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with those opportunities. But I also know that a lot of people are actually profiting from this, making their shows and making even this. I don't know how that works, on your end, but there's projects being made about my story. Is it okay for me to profit and then use that to help people or to get on with my life after, what I've gone through? I'm still grappling with that on a daily basis.
I wonder to what extent, looking back now, do you think that the financial gains that you were reaping from the company contributed to a kind of willful blindness to the darker side of what was happening and the red flags that you might have seen otherwise?
I think there's a legitimacy to that point in terms of making good money and feeling like, wow, isn't this amazing that I'm getting paid to help people achieve their goals and dreams. That's great. There was red flags from the beginning, but I was also taught that was my own issues.
Do you think you would have left NXIVM when you did if you were still making the kind of money that you were making when things were going really well?
With finding out about the branding and the darkness, yeah, I still do, because for me to leave when I did was a huge financial hit.
My friends at the bar are not the only people to raise questions about how Sarah earned money in NXIVM and what she should do with it now. During our investigation, we received an anonymous encrypted email. Whoever wrote it also took issue with the way Sarah's story was being told. And I just want to read some of it to you here. It says, In her statements about the involvement with NXIVM, Ms. Edmonson mostly claims to be a victim. But the truth is, she and several of her colleagues were ruthless recruiters for Mr. Ranieri and NXIVM for many years. They used bullying tactics, high-pressure sales pitches, defamation, and trickery to ensnare hundreds of people within Vancouver's yoga and acting community into spending thousands on the NXIVM period scheme, it says, but I think they mean pyramid scheme, which enriched Edmondson and her colleagues. And I wonder, what is your response to that?
Well, it's twofold. I mean, I think there's parts of that are true, and there's parts that are very much untrue, at least for me. The parts that are true is that we were recruiters, and that was part of my job, is to sell people on this product. And I did that, and I was good at it because I believed in it. And did I make money from that? Yes. Did I use trickery and what was the other word?
It says bullying tactics.
Bullying? Absolutely
high
fucking
pressure.
not. No. Absolutely not. I never did the hard sell with people. Now, I know people who did and used strategies that I think are very manipulative.
Like what?
Like if somebody couldn't make a decision because they were waffling, because they felt not good about it, they'd say something like, do you see your trouble? Do you see that you're unable to make a decision right now? How much money is that issue causing you in your life, not being decisive? If you don't work on it here, where are you going to work on it? Something like that.
And that was not something that you would do? Not
like that. Most of the time, I just shared my experience, listened to whatever it was they were going through, and said, I think this can help with this, this, and this. If they said, like, for example, I want to, but I don't have the money, then I would say, imagine you've got to pay for some surgery, you need to come up with $2,000. Where would you find it? And would we just figure out how to either borrow it or sell something? Or oftentimes I lent them the money because I believed in it so much. Like if somebody really wanted to do it and money was truly the issue, I'd pay for them.
Do you think people ended up paying for courses that they actually couldn't afford?
Yes. And many people went into more debt, which I thought was them not working the tools, because when I went and did it, I got out of debt.
And in hindsight, do you feel like you've come to terms with the damage that might have been done to people who overextended themselves financially?
I mean, I don't think that I'll feel totally good with that until everyone's at least paid back for what they put in. That's what I'm working on now, at least getting people their money back.
And what about the money that you made through the organization? Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you're entitled to keep that money?
Do I feel entitled? Honestly, Josh, I don't know. I could argue both ways. On one hand, I worked my butt off for 12 years, and for many of those years unpaid. And then when I was starting to make money, yes, I made good money, and then I believe I used it for good. If I had it liquid now, I would dole it out. I don't have that.
In NXIVM, it's forbidden to question superiors. It's a policy that Sarah says contributed to the bystander effect. Even though she says she was uncomfortable with certain sales tactics, Sarah rarely spoke up. What kind of responsibility do you have for the fact that people in your organization mm-hmm. are using these kind of tactics to get people to sign up?
I don't know. I feel like the way that I have spoken up and putting myself out there is the most that I can do to make up for where I didn't speak up. So yeah, I guess I do feel responsible. But I also know how cults work now, and I can't beat myself up in that way. And when I had the information, I did the best I could. You know?
Mm-hmm.
This is hard.
How come?
Because so much of the recovery has been learning to not be so hard on myself. And that's what, the first few months were, is just, beating myself up for all of these things that you're bringing up. And I know you're not trying to, you're doing your job, but it's like revisiting these things is like, it just brings up a lot of that stuff. Questioning myself, and the narrative has to be, you didn't know, you have, you had the best of intentions. When you found out, you did the right thing. I have to keep telling myself that.